I wanted to make a video, as I'm sure everyone's already heard the news, that Sony will be discontinuing physical games come 2028. If you saw my video probably about a year ago now, The Strange World of Blu-Ray Cases, you'd know that I am very much a physical media advocate, that I do love physical media. So it was very disheartening earlier this week to hear the news that Sony wants to discontinue with physical media use. Disheartening for me, especially because I grew up with PlayStation to an extent. I had a PS1 as a kid. We had about 3 games on it, or 4 games on it. And then, didn't have a PS2, and I bought a PS3 late after its life cycle was done. I think about 2014, 2015. And then PS4, PS5 since then. And it's very it is very disheartening, because especially the PS4, where they mocked Xbox for trying to get rid of physical games, and now they're doing the exact same thing. It's a frightening concept, I feel like, that they're playing with. Now, you can call me a bit melodramatic for saying that it's a frightening concept, but really, when you stop to think about it, it is. Because this goes back to the whole thing that people are trying to fight against at the moment, which is, we are trying to fight against the "you will own nothing and be happy" movement that the companies are trying to push. Think about how many Netflix shows actually make it onto physical media, and then think about how fewer Disney Plus shows make it onto physical media. I don't think any have, or very few have. Maybe a couple of Star Wars ones were made into a steelbook or something, but that's, we can never own that. We have to go and pay a subscription so that we can watch that. And I don't think Sony's going to force us to pay a subscription, but in a very similar way, what happens when the PS6 releases and it's just going to be a digital library? And then what happens when they want to champion the PS7? Because they're forcing us to accept that when we purchase a digital product, we don't own that. We only own the license for that. What happens when that license gets revoked, like they always want to fucking do at the moment? And this also comes off the heels of Sony just removing for UK users 511 movies that were rightfully purchased from the PlayStation Store, all because they refused to renew their license with Digital Canal. That's their business. If they don't want to renew that license, that's fine. But you can't take away the movie from the users. They purchased that, they own that, but they're trying to force us into this system that they bought it but they don't own it, because they only bought a license to watch it. Once that license is revoked, they don't own it anymore. We didn't revoke the license for the Studio Canal film. You did. Which means I still own the rights to that license. I still retain the right to watch that movie that I lawfully purchased. So it pisses me off. It really pisses me off. When the PS6 releases, they will probably try and do the same. That any games that you lawfully purchased from the PS6 store, we're going to withhold the license from you now because we want to release the PS7. We want you to move on to the PS7. You will not be able to play your PS6 game. Now, that could be, a whole bunch of conspiratorial on my part, but the point is that they have form. What is stopping them from doing the same thing again and again and again? And of course, there are people defending this decision, which is, well, that's mind-boggling to me as a consumer, really. Look, for some of them, I think they just want to be contrarian. Look, anyone that's defending this decision, if you don't agree with Sony discontinuing their physical media, just don't give those people any of your time. That's more than likely what they want is attention, because I can't think of any other reason why you would want to defend the billion-dollar corporation that wouldn't even walk across the street and spit on you if you're on fire to try and put it out. Like, why you want to go in that for them, I have no idea. There is always the idea that this could just be some rage bait from Sony to try and drill up some publicity. Look, I don't know if that is necessarily what's happening here. We've seen companies do stuff like that in the past, so it's a possibility. Look, I'm not sure, especially off the heels with that mass deletion, with the Studio Canal movies. I can see it, but I can't see it. It's yeah. If it is the case that they are doing away with physical media for good, then I'd say speak with your wallet. Don't go out and buy a PS6 if you're against this decision. Don't go out and buy a PS6 when it comes out. Yeah, I guess Steam does nothing and wins.